What up, people? ExcitaBros TCG here with a Plunder Patroll deck profile. We're going to get right into it. After you like, comment, and subscribe, let's get excited. Alright guys, let's get into this deck profile. The first thing you're going to start out with Plunder Patrols is obviously you're going to be hitting them up with your 3 Whitebeards. Obviously, you need to play as many Plunder Patrols as you can. You're going to be having the Whitebeards for sure, and obviously you're going to be having the 3 Redbeards as well. Now, both of these are the monsters you want to have just chilling on the field for you to go into your boss monsters in the extra deck, which we'll get to a little bit later. One of your more powerful extenders, your new Plunder Patrol, and I say that because she is literally fairly new, and that is her name, Golden Hair. She's a beautiful little goblin, and she makes a lot of plays. Also a tuner, so that leads to a lot of other extra deck monsters that we'll get into later as well. And also Whitebeard is also a tuner, so gotta keep those in mind. And then you got your Bluebeard. You're gonna run 3 of these guys. I mean, he just, if there's a Plunder Patrol on the field, you just special summon him. I mean, that just leads into so many plays. And next, we're gonna get into the spell and trap cards for the Plunder Patrols. And obviously you're gonna be running 3 of the field spell. Shipyard. Shipyard just does so much for you. You just discard a card, get a Plunder Patrol, and now that's... I mean, it also gives you 500 attack for each Plunder Patrol spell and trap card that's face up on in your spell and trap card zone. That leads you to boards with monsters of just enormous attack, and you can just beat over whatever you need to. And I mean, this deck can certainly OTK with that as well. But its ability to get you a Plunder Patrol card is so important because all of your monsters, except for your boy right here, they're gonna need to have a Plunder Patrol card in your hand to activate their effects. So this is super powerful, and it can recur itself from the graveyard. So good stuff. Then we're gonna have 3 Emblem. Emblem, it just lets you do what Whitebeard and Redbeard do, except for any Plunder Patrol, and then it also will let you do it during your turn. So that it's just a very powerful card. You're going to need to use it in a multitude of cases. And also, if anything else, it's also a Plunder Patrol card that, if you have to, you can discard it for the effects of your monsters. And now next, we have one, I'll just put it here, one shipping. This one lets you fuse. It also has a graveyard ability that lets you get a Plunder Patrol from your deck and equip it to something. And a lot of your ships are going to need something equipped to them to make their effects quick effect or what have you. So it's really good. We do have some cards that let you get this to the graveyard that you'll see later. Obviously you can ditch this off of their effects, or you can even discard this if you want to with Shipyard, get a different Plunder Patrol card, and then also get its graveyard effect in the process. So it's pretty good, but it's not, you don't normally get that fusion part off too often. So next we're gonna have Plunder Patrol Booty. Now obviously you're gonna need booty for one big reason. Your Redbeard and Whitebeard need your opponent to have a specific attribute to summon cards from the extra deck. This will change one of your opponent's monster's attribute to whatever you want it to be. And so that's going to allow you to go into any of the cards in your extra deck that you may need to go into. And on top of it, it also special summons a Plunder Patrol from your graveyard. So, I mean, you know, a Call of the Haunted on top of changing their attribute, it's just super strong. This is one card. If you've already, like, you for some reason, they got rid of your Redbeard or Whitebeard that's on the field, you just play this and you're already back in the game, and you get to get exactly the one you need. Alright, on to the other cards in the deck here that aren't Plunder Patrol. We got 3 Pot of Desires. Now, this deck does have some draw issues, and like I said, you're going to need to have Plunder Patrol cards in your hand to use the effects. You want to have cards in your hand, basically. So Pot of Desires is, in my opinion, it's as a necessity. You could bump this down to 2 if you want to, but I want to see it. I wouldn't play I've already tested this before. I have played 2 Pot of Desires in one game. Not the best of ideas. I don't think it ever is the best of ideas, but it's funny. But you want to see it is the thing. And so in my opinion, having it at 3 is the best. If you see it again, you always have Shipyard. You can ditch it and get a Plunder Patrol if you don't need it. Like, it still has uses outside of just being Pot of Desires. But yeah, you just want to have Pot of Desires for that draw too. It's just good. Next, we're going to have Foolish Burial Goods. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. Foolish Burial Goods, you're going to have the ability to send shipping. But you can also send Shipyard, which has the ability to recur itself from the graveyard and set itself. So you can just get a Shipyard from your deck that way. So Foolish Burial Goods has some really good synergy with this deck. The next 2 one-ofs we got here, we got 1 Salvage. Salvage is, I was running at 2, but I just didn't see it too much. Like, I seen it a little bit too much at 2, and it just didn't seem as useful at 2 because you just don't have them in. You have your monsters in the graveyard, but for this deck, I decided to make it a going second variant, and I needed space for the going second stuff that I'll show you in a moment. And I thought that this card is really good. Whenever it comes in clutch, it comes in clutch. Getting you your Plunder Patrols back to your hand, letting you use them for the effects of the ships, or just being able to play them again, is very good. So, I mean, if you was to want to bump this up to 2, I could see that, but I'm just playing it at 1 because of the other stuff that's in the deck. And then, obviously, we have the Terraforming, because, I mean, you know, Terraforming. Then, this is the kind of going second stuff right here. This can be interchanged with all sorts of things. This is what I'm running, but we're going to have 3 Effect Veiler, because, I mean, Effect Veiler is so good. We're going to have 3 different Kaijus, alright? We're going to have the Dark Kaiju, Raiden. We're going to have this Thunder King Kaiju. And then we're going to have Dogoran. Now this is because this is dark, light, and fire. You're giving your monster the exact attribute that you need to summon something from your extra deck, and getting rid of a monster in the process. They're just very good. I would use Gamecill, but everything in this deck is already water, so it's not really necessary per se. Maybe when they make ships later, I'll look into using Gamecill and Mothra, whatever the Mothra one's called, and even the spider one as well, because that one's Earth, I believe, if they make an Earth one. But basically, at any point in time, if they make new ships that are relevant to the different attributes that are in the extra deck, they probably should be ran, because they just immediately give you an out and a monster to give you the exact extra deck monster you need. Next, I'm running 2 Book of Eclipse. Well, you know, Book of Eclipse, this could easily be changed out for Ash Blossom, Mourner. I mean, just anything for real. But I'm choosing to run Book of Eclipse because if you play a Book of Eclipse at the right moment, you've completely stopped your opponent from doing anything for the rest of that turn, especially with dinos being as big as they are right now. Book of Eclipse can really hurt them. And another pretty good combo that you can use with Book of Eclipse is the card I'm about to show you. Boom. 3 evenly matched. So a cool thing that you can do is a lot of times your deck is going to have just like a monster sitting there waiting to use its effect to become a ship or something. And if your opponent goes off and all you have is a Book of Eclipse face down, you wait for them to do their stuff, you Book of Eclipse, and you let them attack your stuff, let it die, you Book of Eclipse, flip it all face down in their battle phase. Then you play the evenly matched at the end of the battle phase, and then now you just got rid of all their stuff. You're basically back to turn 1, but like it just immediately stops everything that they just did, and they might have gotten rid of a whole lot of resources to get to that point. And so evenly matched is really good. The one thing you do, if you don't know, one thing we have found out is when you play evenly matched, that is you controlling 1 card. I mean, it sounds obvious, but it might not be obvious to some players. But if you play this, you do control 1 card, so they are going to get to keep 1 card. So keep that in mind, especially whenever they have maybe a field of just 2 monsters. You have to weigh, like, is it worth playing this and banishing just 1 monster? In some cases, it might not be. You want to save it for later. But let's go on to the extra deck. Alright, so for the extra deck, we're going to have 2 Blackbeards. Alright. Then we're going to have 2 of your Lightship Lease, which is one of the best, in my opinion, if not the best, which I'll get into in a second. You got your Xyz, Moark, he's the dark, and then you got Bran, which is your OTK maker. This boy will give some attack, and I mean, he's already sitting at 25 himself. He's just very good. I run these at 2 because there's not a lot of room in the extra deck for this one, for this deck, because you have so many cards. As soon as they make more, it's going to get even, the extra deck's going to be even smaller for this deck. But you want to have the ability to have at least 2 of each, I would say. This one's going to be able to banish spell and trap cards, as well as give 500 attack to Plunder Patrol ships, except itself. And then Moark is going to be able to, if you hard make Moark, overlay for him, then you can detach and make sure that all your Plunder Patrols can't be destroyed. Well, you can detach and make your Plunder Patrol cards not destroyed by a card effect or battle. But otherwise, you can, if it's equipped, it's a quick effect. If he's not equipped, you can still activate it. You ditch a Plunder Patrol, and then you banish a card, banish a monster. And then Plunder Patrol Lease. Now, Lease is so good. It's going to let you special summon a Plunder Patrol from your hand or from your spell and trap card zone for 1. That's just an effect that it has. And then on top of that, it lets you negate the effect, the activation of monster effects and destroy them. So, I mean, that's that's just good as it is. And that quick effect, that is a quick effect that it always has. Where Mowerx is, it has to be equipped with a Plunder Patrol to be a quick effect. Lease and Brand don't have to have that. But if they're equipped, you get the secondary effect of whenever you use that effect, you can search your deck for another Plunder Patrol card. So it can cycle itself. And then Blackbeard is just basically like Redbeard and Whitebeard, except he can get rid of any monster. Yeah, you just target an effect monster and send it to the graveyard. You equip it to whatever ship that you want to bring out, depending on what your opponent has or what you have as well. And then you equip whatever effect monster you got rid of, which includes himself. He can just target himself and summon a ship, and then you draw a card on top of it. So, I mean, Blackbeard is just, he's amazing. So that's it for the Plunder Patrol cards in the extra deck. So let's get these bad boys out of here. For the other cards, we're obviously going to have Abyss Dweller. I mean, the level 4s in this deck are water, so he also gets his 500 attack for water monsters up in this deck. And then on top of it, it's Abyss Dweller, which is just great. Then you're going to have your Bahamut Shark with your Totally Awesome. I mean, you're running water monsters. Why are you not going to run Bahamut Shark with Totally Awesome? So that's it for the XZs, because you have so many options in this. You can go into so many different things. We also have the Salamangreat Almirage for a spicy little combo that I'll show you at the end. You also have Bujinki Ashima. I haven't summoned it yet, but it has great synergy with this deck. If this card is link summoned, you can special summon 2 monsters with the same level, 1 from your hand and 1 from your graveyard, but negate their effects. And immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon 1 Xyz monster. So this, if you go into it, can let you, from your hand and graveyard, overlay immediately for a Mowerx. And then you'll also have this on the field at the same time. And then its secondary effect, if an Xyz monster this card points to activates this effect by detaching material, you can target a spell trap card your opponent controls and destroy it. So it has spell and trap removal just by pointing to the Xyz monster you made, which is most likely going to be the Mowerx. Or you can go into Bahamut Shark immediately with it, or you can go into Abyss Dweller. Doesn't matter. But I just feel like this leads to some good plays, but I haven't used it exactly yet. But because most of the time you are going to be going into your ships instead, but it's there as an option. And finally, now the last cards we have are the Synchros, and you have this level 8 Adamancipator Ryzen Dragite, and I play a Psyframe Lord Omega. A lot of people be using the Aurora Well, which is really good, but I decided I wanted to use Psyframe Lord Omega because Omega's good to get a card off the field continuously himself, but if he does go to the graveyard, he's able to recycle himself and something else, that being either one of your Plunder Patrol monsters that's stuck in the graveyard and you need more in the deck, which actually came up yesterday in a duel that I was doing, or it can recycle itself and extra deck monster that you've already used both of them, you can put it back. So if you have the ability, you could also go into Psyframe Lord Omega And if you have another card on the field, link, let's say you have a Whitebeard, a Golden Hair, and a Bluebeard on the field, you could go into Blackbeard with, after going into Cyphering Lord Omega with either Whitebeard or Golden Hair with Bluebeard. You just go into Cyphering Lord Omega, then use Omega and the other one and go into Bluebeard, and then cycle back the monster that you're needing, and then Blackbeard's going to be able to use that monster whenever you need to. I mean, that's a play you can do if you're just needing to have a Bran and you've ran out, or you have a Moark and you've ran out, or Lease, which is one of the best, and you've ran out. But let me just show you one quick combo. This just takes one card here. Well, technically it'll take two because you're going to have to discard a card. But let's just say you have a Golden Hair and a Whitebeard in your hand, which would be the best in this scenario. You would summon the Golden Hair by normal summoning Golden Hair. Okay. Then you would summon Alamirage. Okay. Then this is going to be in the graveyard. You can discard a card. Well, this is in the graveyard. You discard a card and summon her back. Then Whitebeard's going to let you special summon one from the deck, and then you summon Redbeard. And then from here, you have options. You can go into Blackbeard with this, or you can go in. You can overlay. If you know what deck you're going against, you can overlay into Abyss Dweller or Bahamut Shark if you want to. But most of the time, I would say you would go into a Blackbeard, and then now you have your Redbeard that's going to be able to become something in the next turn during your opponent's turn, and you have Blackbeard that's able to become something himself and draw you a card. And then at this point, you still also have 3 cards in your hand. So, depending on what you have in your hand, you might have a Shipyard. You could have also gotten a Bluebeard and put a Bluebeard on the field. And went into something else. You have a lot of options off of just a Golden Hair and a Whitebeard. Now, if you only have Golden Hair in your hand, you can still get to him. You just have to discard any other random card after you play her and summon the Alamirage. You discard any card. Let's just say you had to get rid of this evenly matched and summon her back from the graveyard, and then boom, you can summon your Blackbeard, and then that's going to be able to make one of your ships and draw you a card. And he's going to be attached to it, so they're going to get their quick effect off of that too. Alright guys, that was the Plunder Patrol deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you got any ideas for what we want to, what kind of profiles you would want us to do next, we also do DBS and Pokemon. We're going to have deck profiles for those coming out as well soon. We're also going to have a deck, a duel between one of Thomas's decks and this Plunder Patrol deck coming out. So keep your eyes out for that, and stay tuned and stay excited.